Hi there, I'm Joshua Hanlon, and today we are on the northern side of Hong Kong with a beautiful view out over Kowloon. And I am standing right now actually on top of the Shingmun Redoubt, which was part of the gin drinkers defensive line that was constructed in the mid-1930s. So this redoubt was actually, to quote the sign, a 12-acre citadel of pillboxes and observation posts and tunnels that were used to defend against any attack that might come down from mainland China. And that's exactly what happened when the Japanese came down on December 8th, 1941, the day after they had attacked Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. They came down and came from mainland China. And actually on the 9th, they did a nighttime sneak attack onto the line and began to break through. Then on the 10th, they did a general assault and completely broke through the line, forcing the British to fall back to Hong Kong Island. So it only took 2 days for them to break through the line, which was surprised both the Japanese and the British. The British thought it would be roughly 3 weeks that they could hold off the Japanese here and then retreat back to the island. The Japanese thought it might take up to a month and actually had brought more troops in, thinking this would be a massive assault. So the fact that they broke through in only 2 days was amazing, and it's considered a pretty significant defeat for the British here that they were only able to hold out for 2 days. The reason for that, a number of different reasons. Number one is it was manned by only 3 British battalions, so there weren't a lot of men here to defend it. The men that were here were not trained particularly well, and they were not very experienced, and so that didn't help. Then they also underestimated the Japanese and didn't plan on things like a nighttime assault that surprised them and helped break through the line. So as I mentioned, we are on top of one of the observation posts here. Now we'll walk down and get a better look at it. And throughout this whole line, the gin drinkers line and the Shingmun Redoubt, there's a lot to see. There are pillboxes, there are tunnels you can walk through, and you can see some of them, but there's a lot of damaged areas, and so a lot of this was damaged by Japanese shells, and in the Japanese attack, a lot of this came under fire. And you can see inside here and see what this would have looked like. There's actually papers on the walls and everything. A lot of warnings not to play around or go into too many tunnels and stuff like that, because it can still be dangerous and they don't want it collapsing on anyone or anything like that. So this was a significant site in Asia during World War II, and as I mentioned, an amazing site mostly because of how the defensive line fell so quickly to the Japanese when everyone thought it would be able to hold out. But it is a good example of, similar to the Maginot Line in France, how defensive fortifications frequently did not serve their intended purpose and did not work nearly as well as planned when actually put to the test during World War II. As you walk along the War Relics Trail, you'll notice entrances to several different tunnels along the trail. Some of them have signs that say you can't enter, but some of them you can actually walk into here, like this one, Shaftesbury Avenue. And you'll notice, as I just mentioned with the name and the name above all of these tunnels, it's named after roads in London, and so this made for easy identification for the British troops who were stationed here. They would have been very familiar with these names and would have known which tunnel they were talking about when they mentioned one of the road names. So if you want to make it up here, you can follow the War Relics Trail, which actually starts at the Shingmun barbecue site number 5. So if you have a GPS, put that in there, and that'll be the way to get here, and you can start the whole War Relics Trail, which takes you to a number of different tunnels and redoubts and pillboxes that you can visit. And it's a great way, as I showed at the beginning of the video as well, to see out over the city and get some great views, as well as learn more about the World War II history of Hong Kong. Thanks so much for watching.